exactly what you had said. Maybe it's something that I read, that he's very appreciative of where he is at his age, coming out with this album. I mean, you know, I mean, you have been giving us fabulous music for a long time, and still to have that opportunity to do that is...
It's very exciting for me, and I'll tell you what's amazingly exciting is the initial response to this. I was hoping that it would be well received, but it's way past what I was hoping for. It's not even like formally in the stores till tomorrow. And I've seen all these glowing reviews and how honest the lyrics are and how I'm not holding back, and we're glad that you're, you know, telling us your feelings on life and stuff. There's no teenage love songs and fluff on this record. It's more about living and having lived 6 decades and how that living has crept into the lyrics, you know.
I first heard the first song, Dream, and coming back from the USA, I was on a website. And it came across, you know, where you get to click and go there. This was a couple of weeks ago, and I was digging those 2 songs.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
The USA tune, does that not rock? That rocks. That so rocks. I love it. Absolutely love it. Now, you were talking about being a songwriter. 2005, you were inducted into the Canadian Songwriter Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that was a great night.
How did that feel?
Randy and I were inducted together that night, and because we wrote some pretty big records, like very, very early in our lives, and I was like 20 and 21, and we were getting gold records already. And I think what Randy said that night summed it up very well. He said, "This award, of all the awards we've gotten ever, this one meant the most, because, you know, without songs, you have nothing. You can have great players and great singers and great performers and great light show and, you know, good legs and good hair and great short skirts and all that crap. But without songs, you're really nowhere." And I think that's what meant so much to us, that we were taken seriously as songwriters after all the albums we had done. And Randy, of course, with BTO too, you know, and then a lot of my solo stuff. I think being a songwriter is what I'm the most proud of. I'm still practicing and trying to get better, but then I hear Keith Jarrett and then I just want to go and hang myself. Guys like Bruce Hornsby and Thelonious Monk and Bill Evans, the late Bill Evans, I mean, those are piano players. I honk along with the singer, which happens to be me anyway.
Well, we're riding with you. Absolutely, we are riding. So talking about your songs, last night, my daughter, who was 19 years old, had her boyfriend over for dinner. I happened to have your CD and, you know, bio information out on the table. He knew right away who you were.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, 19.
Excellent.
In fact,
so your 19-year-old daughter has a 60-year-old boyfriend. Actually, he's 19, and I happen to know some folks over here. Their 16-year-old son wanted to come because he also digs you. My goodness.
So,
you know,
and why not?
That's something that not every artist gets, and I've noticed the demographic at the shows during the last 1.5 or 2 years, and we did a lot of Burton Cummings shows over the last 2-3 years, and I've noticed one thing is there's such a huge, broad demographic at our shows. People from 13 and 14 years old right up into their 60s and 70s, and everything in between, and not every artist is lucky enough to get that. So I'm thankful every day. As I say on the DVD which accompanies the album, you know, I do have an attitude of gratitude about this, and never for a split second do I take any of this for granted, believe me.
So those songs, we're still going to be listening to them 20 years from now, particularly if the kids 16 and 19 are listening. Why do you think those songs are still around?
Oh gosh, it's hard to say. I think Randy and I, especially in the early days with These Eyes and Laughing and Undone and No Time and some of those, Randy and I were always influenced by these great songwriting teams. We came up listening to and being influenced by Lieber and Stoller and Goffin and King and Bacharach and David and Lennon and McCartney and Jagger and Richard and all these incredible songwriting teams. And we, not that we ever considered ourselves in the same, you know, on the same level or caliber as them, but we dreamed about it, you know. We kind of patterned ourselves after. We would sit and fantasize, wouldn't it be great if we could write something like Hal David and Burt Bacharach, and wouldn't it be great if we could write like John and Paul, you know. And and Goffin and King, you know, Carole King and Jerry Goffin, while they were married all those years, they wrote this unbelievable list of hit records, and we thought, man, that would be great, just to have one or two of those, you know. So we patterned ourselves after the really prolific songwriters, and I think that crept into our style of writing, and we were weaned on AM radio, which played a lot of commercial stuff that was about 3 minutes long, and they all had hooks. They have to have hooks. They had to have hooks to be hit records. Maybe that's part of it. Other than that, it was definitely good timing and good luck and being in the right place at the right time.
Now, you know, when we hear the first couple of notes of These Eyes, does that not give everybody goosebumps? Still today, after all these years, you know, we're still going to be listening to those songs.
This thing. Yeah. My goodness.
Seriously.
Wow.
So, I didn't mention that my 19-year-old daughter's boyfriend happens to play in a band. He plays bass guitar. What would you tell a young person getting into the music business today? He wants to play. He wants to be a musician.
Very first thing, don't even have to think about it. Try and write your own material. Right from day one, try and write your own material. And if people steer you into doing stuff by other people, just tell them where to go and stick to your guns and write your own original songs. That's the best advice I could give anybody.
Because that's where you make your money.
It's not so much the money, it's the, you know, who cares how well you can do Aerosmith and Led Zeppelin? There's a million people that can do that. But to create your own stuff, and then you'll get fans that'll stay with you forever.
Because you touch them, just like These Eyes. Yeah. As well as your other material, of course. So I noticed that if anybody goes to the internet, you see that Burton blogs, and he has a MySpace. So you're right into the...
Oh, God, yeah. I was introduced to MySpace about 1.5 years ago. I've had a MySpace since, I guess, April of '07, and I have my own official BurtonCummings.com where I'm not censored, so those are the more interesting stories. And it's great because I was saying to someone in an interview, we just came back from Halifax, we did 2 nights at the big casino down there, and I did a lot of press to introduce the new album to the Maritimes. And I was saying, you know, when you've been around as long as I have, when you've been around for like 30 albums and, you know, several decades, you build up a fan base that if they really like you, they'll stay with you all this time. Well, until the internet, there was never any place for all of us to congregate together. But I mean, I see faces here that I recognize from, you know, I mean, there's all kinds of familiar faces that I see on my sites all the time. Without the internet, we wouldn't have that personal connection. And there are people that send me messages from South America and Australia and New Zealand and Germany and Holland and England and all over the States and Canada. There's a way now to connect, which before the internet there really wasn't. And even if you wrote to somebody, it would be 2 or 3 weeks before you got a reply in the mail, and it might be just a rubber stamp on a picture. I mean, even chat rooms, I used to go into chat rooms, but then I got bored with that because I type so much faster than everybody else. And I would type a big paragraph and a half, and then I'd go and have a shave while I answered. But I do like the blogging and the response to the blogs, and I'm going to be 61 next month. I have nothing to hide anymore, so if they want to hear all the dirt, they can just come to my sites and read it. You know?
You can also get the rest of the story on the Jim Morrison.
Oh yeah, that went on for a long time.
But it's still interesting. So the internet has allowed us to be connected, absolutely. And
definitely. We call it the clubhouse, and there are actually 2 clubhouses now, and then they call themselves the Faithful, and believe me, it's been tremendous.
They're here.
Some of the Faithful are here. Hear them applaud? There you go.